Hello and thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we'd really appreciate it if you would. This is a Lenovo IdeaCentre 5i with a 13th Gen i5 processor. It has 10 cores, 6 are going to be performance cores and 4 are power efficient cores. We'll go over the outside, inside, and benchmarks as well. Let's get started. This desktop PC has an Intel Core i5-13400 10-core processor, 2.5 GHz base, 4.6 GHz turbo, Intel UHD graphics 730, 8 GB of DDR4 3200 RAM, 256 GB M2 NVMe PCI Express Gen 4 SSD, Gigabit Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6 AX with Bluetooth 5.1, USB-A and USB-C 3.2 Gen 1, a slim Ultrabay DVD-RW, Windows 11 Home 64-bit. It does not include a monitor, but it does include a wired keyboard and mouse. On the front, you can see the Lenovo logo, an Intel tag, slim type optical drive, 2 USB type A, 1 type C, headset jack, and a power button. This is way better than the previous model. The whole front panel had to slide, and to get to the optical bay, you had to slide it down, which meant nothing could be plugged in. It made no sense. This would be the left side if it was standing up as a tower. It's got a vent. The top's blank, the right side is blank, and the bottom actually has a tag that's got serial number, model number, regulatory information, and stuff like that. Power supply is here with a standard PC type power cord socket. 4 expansion slots, 1 is a dummy. These 3 have to be bent and broken out, but as you'll see, only 2 slots actually exist inside. The antenna's in here, there's another one hidden in the front you couldn't see. Audio out, HDMI video, VGA, 4 USB type A, and Gigabit Ethernet. To open up this PC, you're going to remove 2 thumb screws from the back. You'll likely need a Phillips head the first time. And the top is going to slide back and lift up to come off. The front panel will come off if you just pull lightly up on these black plastic tabs, tilt it, and then it'll come off. This tray's next. You have to lift up on this tab that's red, and then the tray will slide forward, and then it pivots. You can get it out back here. There's an optical drive in here that can be removed. To take this totally off though, you'll have to unhook these cables. There are provisions for a 2.5-inch drive and a 3.5-inch drive under here, as well as the SATA cables for it. However, they are not including the screws to mount the drives. CPU is under this shroud. There is a heat sink in there. There's a blower style fan to pull heat off the CPU. Unfortunately, they've covered where you could put a rear case fan, but there is a spot for a front case fan here, and there are 2 fan connectors on the motherboard. There's 2 DIMM slots, only one is populated with an 8 gig stick on this model. Of course, it's labeled like there's 4, and you can see spots where there's solder for 4, but they only included 2. There's the M2 SSD. It likely won't have this connector to mount it if you don't get one that comes with the M2. At least that was the case with previous models. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card is here with antennas front and rear. There's a CMOS battery. PCI Express X16 and X1. They clearly don't intend for you to put much of a video card in here. I know we'll get a lot of questions about that, as we always do. This power supply is very small, and it's not going to offer enough power to really do what I would consider to be a gaming or real graphics card. It is 260 watts. Also has a proprietary motherboard connector, and then the SATA drives are powered actually off the motherboard, not directly off the power supply. And then there's a 4-pin CPU power connector, even though there's an 8-pin socket. Probably just doesn't need the additional wattage. Before people ask, they do make an adapter to where you could put a aftermarket power supply and adapt it to this, but I've seen them blow up computers, so I just don't recommend doing that. The overall pass mark score for this PC is 2665, which is the 30th percentile. CPU mark is 20,412, which is the 84th percentile. Very impressive for an i5. The 2D and 3D mark scores are low, 25 and 26 percentile respectively. This does only have integrated graphics. Memory mark is 2370, the 42nd percentile. Is not running DDR5, which I know a lot of people will critique. It's also not running 2 sticks, so it is not dual channel mode. The disk mark is 21737, the 86th percentile, which is very good. I'm really impressed with the performance for the money on this one. That 13th Gen i5 is very efficient, as you can see, and very high performing. The SSD was very impressive as well, but the graphics and the RAM are certainly the anemic part of this system. The RAM you could upgrade, so that's not that big a deal, but like we talked about, the power supply is proprietary. You can't really do anything about that, and I know a bunch of people are going to buy this expecting to put a graphics card in it, try it for gaming and stuff, and it simply doesn't work that way anymore since everything is so proprietary and all the manufacturers are doing this now. If you intend to purchase, if you can use the link in our description, it really helps support the channel. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if there's anything you want to add I didn't include, let's get that in the comments too. I'm always glad to learn something new. Thanks.